This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Here's the deal.
Welcome back to another Shields of Shame video. In this video, you will meet Savannah Brooke Wade, a former decertified cop with the Polk County Police Department in Georgia. Savannah was written up prior for an at-fault accident and could not afford another one, so she told a lie that rocked an entire police department. Rather than take responsibility for her poor driving abilities, she said a man in the middle of the road walked up, attacked her with a knife, and ran. But when other officers arrived, they were looking for a ghost. When they trained this cop to lie, she is what the police liar community would call an overachiever.
Okay, today's date is January 19th, 2021. The approximate time is 11:23 a.m. We're located at the Polk County Police Department. This is a taped interview with Savannah Wade, Officer Savannah Wade. I'm sorry. I got 50 things going. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you Garrity, okay? You know what Garrity is, right? That means, basically, you have to tell the truth and everything to us. If anything, which you're not saying that there's anything criminal or anything like that, all it is we can't use whatever we have for any criminal case that anybody was to ever have. But this ain't criminal. This is all here, okay? Oh, gosh. Desk. So I'm going to read it to you, okay? And then I'll let you read it, okay? And it's a Garrity waiver, and it says, I wish to advise you that you are being questioned as part of an official investigation being conducted by the police department. You will be asked questions specifically directed and narrowly related to the performance of your official duties or fitness of duty for office. You are entitled to all the rights and privileges guaranteed by the Constitution of the State of Georgia and the Constitution of the United States, including the right not to be compelled to incriminate yourself in any criminal manner. I further wish to advise you that if you refuse to testify or to answer questions truthfully that are specifically directed and narrowly related to the performance of your official duties or fitness for duty, you will be subject to departmental charges which could result in your dismissal from the department. If you do answer neither your statements nor any information or evidence which is gained by reason of such statements can be used against you in the criminal proceedings. However, these statements may be used against you in relation to any subsequent departmental charges in an administrative hearing. Okay, and that's just basically saying that this is a investigation. Okay. I mean, for you to, if you want to read it yourself, you can. If you do, undersign it and sign it. Okay. Thank you. Alright, now let's go over all this that's been going on with the incident on 12/21, which was December the 21st. Wasn't it 21st? Mm-hmm. And I guess some of the questions I have is this. The time you gave in your report, that's one time. Mm-hmm. The time you gave to Captain Davis is another time. Okay? They contacted your friend, and Madison's that her name? Mm-hmm. And she gave a different time, too. So, the time for your incident report is 2:15 p.m., okay? The time you gave Captain Davis was 3-ish, mm-hmm. Okay? Your friend Madison gave at 1:30. Do you see what I'm saying? There's three different times. So, my question is, why are we so off on the times?
When I first talked to Captain Davis, the first interview that we had with him, and he came in and he was like, what time did it happen? I wasn't looking on any records, didn't even look at my report, and I should have, and like I told him, the time is wrong in my report, and I should have went back and corrected that and made sure that was on me for sure. Okay. I didn't intentionally just give the wrong time or anything like that. I guess I was just assuming it was around 3-ish. Everything just kind of happened, and I think the time for my report is I probably pulled it off the CAD, was going off the CAD.
Okay, what was on the CAD? Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay. Well, all right, so you're driving down Bellevue? Okay, and you see this guy, and you're on the phone with your friend. Okay. Did you tell her to hold on?
I had her on speakerphone, so my phone was like kind of laying like in the cup holder, and I was talking to her, and while I was talking to her, I was like, I see somebody looks like they're trying to flag me down. I was kind of just like, I was talking to myself, but like I guess she could hear it.
What was he doing?
He was standing in the middle of the road, and he had like his arms up, so I thought I was being flagged down.
Yeah.
So I pull up, and I roll down the window, and I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And he doesn't say anything, he just looks at me, and he's got this just, I could tell something wasn't right. So I never took my mic off the holder, but I try to key up, and it won't key up. And the phone's still going. I guess at some point she hung up or it got hung up. I don't know because it was in the cup holder. I didn't have it actually in my hand.
Okay.
And when I was trying to key up, I had looked over because I was looking at my radio, and he had like a windbreaker on, and it's that material you can hear like when movement happens. So I heard his arms go down, and I look over, and he's like reaching in his pocket, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, let me see your hands. And then I'm still trying to keep, I go ahead and pull my gun out. I'm trying to get unbuckled, still got my foot on the brake, never even put it into park, never even got that far, never got to put blue lights on or anything because it happened that fast. And I have my gun laying right here with my hand still on it, and my arm was kind of like propped up.
So you didn't draw your gun out?
Because I had tried to throw my seatbelt off, get my gun out, because it was a little bit easier with the leg holster because it wasn't all the way up here.
Yeah.
And I had it right here, and then I see something, like I can see movement, and I look over and I kind of had my arm like propped up on the wood, like not all the way up there, but it was like resting kind of on the window because the window was down. And I see him reach over, and it was like an all black pocket knife, like one of those cheap ones you get at like Walmart or something, and he just reached down and just sliced and took off running, and I sat there for a few seconds. I guess I was just like trying to figure out what to do, and I didn't respond correctly at all because I left instead of staying.
Why did you not call immediately? And I mean, you're a police officer.
I know.
Why? Because the problem I'm having with all this is that you left the scene. Okay, you didn't chase him. Okay. But you should have what? What should you have done?
Immediately, call for help, try to key up again, and...
So you didn't call. It didn't key up again.
No, after that I didn't try to key up again. I was like, okay, I'm going to call 911. This is a lot of information to relay. I'll just call them. I tried calling Angie. She didn't answer. I called Wimpy, told him what was going on. I called Johnson, told him what was going on. And then tried calling Angie. I tried calling her, I think, like 3 times in total.
Okay, and then, but you're driving while you're calling these people, and you're leaving the scene. Where are you going?
I went to Carlton Drive.
All right, and do you remember what time you got there?
I don't.
Okay. Because your computer is always tracking constantly.
That's what he was showing me when we had our first.
And every time it's tracking, it does or shows you stopping on that road at any of those times that you gave. But it does show when you call 911, you call while you're at Carlton Drive. But you told him Bellevue.
I made 3 or 4 phone calls before I even called 911 because I tried calling Angie, I called Wimpy. He didn't answer the first time. I called him again. He answered. We talked in depth for a few minutes because him and Johnson were going to come. I guess him and Johnson were together when it happened. I'm not 100% sure. But I got the gist that they were. Then I called Johnson and told him. And then I called Madison because she was blowing up my phone. And then I messed up. I fucked up. I know that. With the way that I handled everything. And I don't expect that to be sugar-coated. And I've replayed this situation over a million times in my head. And I'm embarrassed with the way that I handled it because that's not how an officer is supposed to act. And also, just that, you know, he showed me the computer thing about how it showed me slowing down to 15, but it never showed me stopping. I did have a question about that. When I got in that wreck and I hydroplaned, a couple of days later, I was talking to Kenny, and he said something along the lines of, yeah, we were trying to look up your speed and your location, but we couldn't see it because it had you frozen.
Well, you went to, before you had your accident, you went to Vincent Mountain Road up on Brown up there to a call.
Yeah.
And it went out of internet service.
Yeah.
So it disconnected. Okay, so it don't, sometimes it connects back, sometimes you have to log off your computer, power, you can put it back up, and then it reconnects. Sometimes you have to call SSI, and you have to remote into it and reconnect it.
Right.
So when you left the scene up there, when you left the call, it didn't reconnect to the internet, it didn't connect to the GPS. And so I guess you got back to the office, you logged your computer off when you got home. Next day when you got in the car, you logged everything back up, come up. That's why it lost signal.
Okay.
So you come down, you can come back to Rockmart or down the mountain, however you come back, because it's not on the GPS, it didn't pick up your speed or times.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, could it be?
It updates every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So every 10 seconds it throws down your location, your speed, and time.
Okay.
Every 10 seconds.
So when you was on Bellevue, it
was
never,
steady, 10 seconds.
It never lost. Okay.
It never lost. Like you were at 15 miles per hour pulling up the stop sign. Okay, then the next 10 seconds go by, you done went through the stop sign, it was like 28, 29 miles per hour. Then the next spot where it happened at, well, where you carried me to and showed me. Okay, you were at that spot 4 times between 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Right, and each time you were moving according to the GPS, and your speeds and your seconds were all consecutive. Like, the next spot's up, they were all 10-second intervals, you know, the whole way.
That has been, when I told you I wanted to talk to you, that was one of the things that I had just noted that I wanted to ask about, because I was like, okay, well, if it, you know, if it's had deficiencies before or something, how do I know that it wasn't
it wouldn't even showed you there.
Okay.
It wouldn't even been a bubble there. Like when you come down the mountain, it didn't have none of your.
None of, okay.
If you go and plug your GPS from the back of your computer, it's going to show the last spot.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to show up again.
Okay. Because I mean, I wasn't in park, but I was stopped. Like my foot was on the brake.
You told me in there though that you were out. It was more than a couple of minutes, but less than 5 minutes. Okay, so if you go like your car here sitting in the parking lot right now, it's going to have a bunch of bubbles.
Just from sitting there.
Okay, so if you're sitting, and so like you went down Bellevue Road like at 144, and you went towards Prospect, and you turned around. Okay, so it has you turning around and coming back by. You know, so when you pull in, they pulled into the left to a park driveway or somewhere, backed out, I guess, and turned around and come back. It has all that on there, and they have to 10-second intervals the whole way. Yeah,
because I was headed down Bellevue, and then Wimpy was like, "Hey, will you 25 with me at the church?" So I turned around, and then after I left him is when all that happened.
Okay, let's see, like Madison's message to you was at 1:54, asking if you were okay. Okay, at 1:54, you're sitting at Bellevue Church. Okay, you don't go back by that spot till 2:05. At 2:05, you pass that spot again at 39 miles per hour, whatever it is. And so that's what I'm saying. You know,
right.
That we have all these times using this whatever, but we don't have no time that you were stopped.
I remember her text me because I remember seeing it later.
We have a screenshot on this of her text message from at 1:54.
Yeah, she told me that y'all called her up here. She also told me that Bowman told her that there was no, not really proof, but there was no record of me calling 911. There was no record of me calling supervisors.
Well, the only I don't know about all that, but the record that you called 911 at 2:26.
Because she asked me, she said, "Why did he tell me the complete opposite of what?"
Well, you called 911 at 2:26, okay? But at 2:26, you were on Call to Drive, and you told me you called 911 immediately to Bellevue Road, and that's on the recording.
Okay.
Right here, where it was in my office. You said you called immediately.
I know.
Well, now it's you called Wimpy and Jake and Angie 3 times, and then 911, Madison, and then 911. So that could have been the 14 minutes or whatever. But you told me you called immediately.
That's the problem we're having.
I get that.
And at 2:26, you were on Call to Drive, not Bellevue Road.
I still can't get over you not. I'm okay with the fact that you didn't chase him. Okay? That, without backup. I mean, let's say he did cut you, okay? But for you not to immediately pick up your radio, and if it did not go out, then call 911 and ask for units to be sent there. If this would have happened to a regular person, you would have instructed them, why did you not call 911? Okay? But the fact that we never even got over there to look for this guy, he's out in that community now, and he just did it to you. Who knows who else he could have done it to? You see what I'm saying? I mean, he did it to a police officer. He sure ain't scared enough to do it to anybody else then. That's the problem I'm having too with that. And the fact that our times are totally, completely off on everything.
All Boatman did help out. He rode over there. There's a couple houses that have the ring. There's one house that has a video camera pointing to the road. Nobody has anybody in the roadway, walking by, anything. So we don't have nothing.
Because she called me, I guess it's been over a week ago now, and I was just like, why did they wait so long to interview her?
Well, it happened on the 21st, and then I felt, we get all this stuff on the 22nd. And then we start working through it, whatever, and then that's when they get her in. They can put back, well, I did wait so long for you to call 911. So, they're helping me out.
Right, I get that.
And Bowman went to Bellevue Road the 22nd. Mm-hmm. Same day that he went out there. Yeah. He went out there and checked with the residences all out there in that area, and nobody knows nobody that description. And the ones that had the ring and the video camera, there's nothing, nobody walking by, anything, nothing. So he done what he was supposed to do.
Right. No, I'm not saying that he did anything wrong. I was just, she said that, and I was just like, I don't know.
That might have been what he was meaning. There was nothing. When he was explaining it to her, it might have been that nobody out there had anything. Out there on the Bellevue Road, there's no videos, there's nothing.
She just said, she was like, he flat out told me that there was no record of you calling 911 or your supervisor or anything.
No, there's no. The only thing we have 911 is the 226 deal.
Okay.
That's it.
I'd like to send you for a polygraph. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll have to call and check. We'll see who I can get available. It just depends. If I can't get you in today, I doubt very seriously I can get you in today. But I'm going to try to get you in tomorrow. Will you be available? I know you're off.
Not tomorrow.
Okay.
I do, and I had talked with you briefly about this the other day. Rumors fly, and all this information reached me, and everything gets twisted, and it's, oh, you're a liar, you're getting fired, if you try to leave, they're going to yank your certification, all this. Before any of this even happened, y'all know a while back I was trying to get on with Barry.
I was just found out about that.
I didn't know that.
We just found out last week.
Oh. Well, I had been trying to get on with Barry. They offered me the job, and I turned it down. They reached out. It was before this incident, asking me was I still interested. So I've been talking with them, and I had been planning on sitting down and talking with y'all about it. But now I'm like, okay, I didn't want to put in a if it was, because that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Is they're wanting to talk to me.
Okay. Well, as far as your certification and all that stuff, whatever. Like if you resign, there's only certain ways we can mark it. Okay, is you resigned in good standing, you resigned through termination, you were fired, however.
My concern was, like I told you, I don't want it to look, if I did, because I haven't said yes, I didn't want it to look like I was running from anything. I didn't want to do anything until this was complete. Because I know just as well as y'all, if I were to hand in my resignation, they'd be like, oh, obviously she had something to hide.
Do you want to, I can't guarantee you, I can't get out. As far as I know, it probably won't be tomorrow. But the next day or the next, it'll have to be one of those days.
I have no problem taking a polygraph.
Okay.
But I also I just wanted to
be upfront with us.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what they have to offer, because they said that main things that they have to offer are different from the first time, and I'm guessing that's regarding pay, and they're not allowed to tell it to me until I sit down with them. So I was supposed to go 3 weeks ago, but then the holidays, then Paisley got COVID, so that kind of just, I'm sure that's why this has been pushed on.
Well, yeah, everybody's holidays and vacations and everything else.
So this was supposed to happen, I was supposed to sit down with them over a month ago.
Okay.
And it's been unable to happen. So I just wanted y'all to know that it wasn't me just, actively trying to leave.
Okay.
During the midst of this, this is a good opportunity. The reason I'm doing it is because Paisley's education will be paid for. I'm trying to finish my bachelor's. It would be paid for. The insurance is free, and the benefits are amazing. Paisley would get a discounted school up there, and it was a good deal. But I told them,
still doing housing up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they told me they said we were disappointed that you didn't take it the first time when we offered it, but I felt obligated to stay here because I wanted to. I don't,
Is your contract up?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I didn't know.
I don't. Is it for 18 months or
2
2
years.
years?
It goes in half after the first year, and then it goes down each month.
Okay.
So
Because
I don't know when. It goes from the day you graduate the academy. So you graduate in September or something.
27th.
So that would be the end of your 2 year.
Okay. Because
It goes down every month. They'd have to figure it up and what the rate would be, whatever it might be. But it goes down every month. It's cut in half after the first year, and then it goes down every month.
I hate how when something like this happens, everybody talks, everything gets twisted, and it gets passed around.
If you've been involved in this room before with different stuff, so now you see how it goes around. Go ahead.
That's because I was sitting there thinking the other night I couldn't help but think of Kathleen, and how she's gotten herself in some situations, but one person says this, one person says this, and at the end of the day, there's all these,
it's always going to be like
things piled up, and you're like, well, I don't know what to believe, and now the same thing is about me, and like now, the guys, they won't even hardly look me in the face, and I hate it because once there's any rift in between like coworkers where they feel like, you're dishonest or you're not going to back them up, which they have every right to feel that way about me.
It's a scary thought, Savannah, and you need to think about that, because a police officer has to react immediately. We don't get the luxury of leaving a scene and saying, "Hey, I'll be right back with
that
you."
Uniform on. Detectives are after the fact. They have to look more into it, but you're a patrolman. We have to
immediately act on things like that. Okay, I can understand you not chasing after him by yourself. He just used a knife on you, okay?
I told the same thing.
And not go up there. But the fact that you did not immediately call for backup, because everybody would have been there in a heartbeat, and you know that.
It was like on your GPS. You go down Prospect. Okay, so I'll take out the guys working with you. You know what I'm talking about? You're scared, you're hurting. Okay? You go right through Aragon. You got Brandon Lloyd, Brad Lloyd, and Paul Mazuka 100 yards from you. I mean, you get right there at 101 and New Prospect, and you go over to Carlton. If you're needing help and you can't get up on it, that would have been
the place
spot that, if I let, I'm right here, there's 3 officers right here. I'm going to get them, we're getting ready, we're going back over there. So if you're needing help, that would have been your opportunity other than radio or phone. Because they were right there. And all 3 of those guys would have been right with you.
But we knew your phone was working. I mean,
that's like, why would you pass those 3 up? That was a.
That's the problem, and you understand what I'm saying.
I do completely.
And for how everybody's acting, I don't know, but I'm not acting like that. Perry's not acting like that. We just got to get to the bottom of this and figure out what's best for the police department too.
Right.
I mean, I can't have officers out here just wanting the uniform.
Right.
We've got to have officers out here who are going to act when your life's in danger, or when my life's in danger. And it makes people it puts caution, just like you said. You understand how they feel.
I do.
if you're not going to back them up. If you're not going to back yourself up, are you going to back them up? And that's a touchy thing. I mean, we've got to have officers that'll do that. So I'm going to let you go back on the road, okay? And I'm going to try and see if we can get one, maybe not tomorrow, but the next day, okay? And we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right?
You just let me know and I'll be where you need me to be.
Okay.
I can give you a call tomorrow and
what time's your interview?
9:30.
So would you have something afterwards, maybe? Like after 1?
I don't think so.
Okay. If they get, I mean, I'm just saying.
I just have to make sure everything's good with somebody picking Paisley up from school.
Okay.
Because it would have been Cartersville.
I don't know yet. We're trying to see if we can get Cartersville or Rome.
Okay.
Either one.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, this interview is going to end at, you got anything else?
No, ma'am.
At 11:48 a.m. You got anything? All right.
Okay, so
Really?
yep. Okay, yesterday you were this Captain Perry Davis did an interview with Savannah Wade, one of our patrol officers. Yesterday you was involved in I want you to start from the beginning and tell me what happened.
Okay. It was probably around 3-something. I was
3-something? Okay.
Yeah. I was driving on Bellevue Road, headed back towards Prospect, so that'd be east.
Okay.
I remember passing McCowan. I remember looking up and seeing the Sorrells Farm sign on my left, and I looked, and I was actually on the phone with a girlfriend, and she kind of heard the whole thing.
Okay.
I looked up, and there was a man standing in the middle of the road, and he had his arms kind of up like that, so I thought I was getting flagged down.
Is the Sorrells Farm sign, isn't that right there close to Moss Road?
Like, you pass McCowan and you go up a little bit, and then right there on the left, there's the Sorrells Farm sign.
Okay.
I just remember glancing up and seeing it, and then I remember looking up, and I told Madison, I was like, there's somebody standing in the middle of the road, and I thought he was flagging me down.
Who was you talking to?
My friend Madison Atkins.
Okay.
And I stayed on the phone with her, and I was like, hey, hold on. I was like, let me see what this guy wants. So I reached down, and I tried to key up my radio, but when I did, it just did that, the long beat, like it wouldn't. And so I went ahead and rolled down my window, because I know I should have called out to 911 first. But I was like, hey, man, is everything okay? I was like, are you good? And he just looked at me, and he had this just vacant stare, like just that glazed over look. So I was going to go ahead and tell 911 to go ahead and get EMS out there. So I tried keying up again. I tried it like 3 times. Nothing. Well, he was wearing like a windbreaker, like that windbreaker material, so you can hear when it moves.
Okay.
It was like dark gray, and it said something right here, but I could almost like a company name, but I can't tell you what it said. I didn't look. But I heard him put his arms down, and I just kind of glanced over, and I saw him putting his hands like going in his pocket. I'm like, hey, I'm like, no, man. I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, let me see your hands. So at that point, I kind of got that gut feeling. I'm still in my car, still got my foot on the brake, not even apart, trying to get my seatbelt off, trying to get my gun out, and I had my arm kind of like propped up on the window, and I looked over, and it was a black pocket knife, like all black, kind of looked like one of those little cheap ones you get at Walmart, and I mean, he just had it out, and he just...
So you hadn't drawn your weapon or nothing?
No, I did. At this point, like, I had my seatbelt on. I was trying to throw my seatbelt off, draw my weapon, and I had it out about like this when he did that. And so then I was putting my car in park, and I looked up, and he just ran. There's like a wood line, but I think there's like a field behind it. And I mean, I didn't get out of the car and try to go after him or nothing. I immediately called.
Okay. Okay. And so you said this is 3-something.
I mean, I can look at my call log.
Well, no, I mean, you put it in the report. 2:15.
Yeah, whatever. I just went by the thing on.
Well, you have to let girl on the phone. Won't it show the time you spoke with her on the phone?
Yeah, let me look real quick.
So how long does this take place? I mean, how many minutes did you say?
Not even 5.
Not even 5 minutes. Okay.
It was really quick. So I talked to him. Not one. I started on the phone with her around 1:38.
Around 1:38. Okay. And so you was on the phone with her for over an hour?
We were on the phone for a little while, because I had called her, and we were just talking with me going down the road.
Okay, well, you said 3 something. And you just told me it's about 3 something o'clock.
Right.
Okay, so if you get on the phone at 1:38, that means you was on the phone for an hour and 20 something minutes.
I thought it was around 3 something, like the time definite.
Okay, so all right. So not sure about the time.
Well, I got on the phone with her at 1:38, and I was on the phone with her when it happened.
All right. So what happened after he cut you?
I jerked my arm back in the window, and I still had my gun right here.
Okay.
And I glanced up, and he was running off, and I went off in the car. I didn't try to go after him or anything, and I called 911.
Okay, where'd you call 911 from?
My phone.
From your cell phone?
Mm-hmm.
What location?
Going down the road.
On Bellevue?
Yes.
And the CAD sheet says 226.
That I called him at 226?
Your CAD sheet from 911, okay, says 226.
Yeah, my phone says 224.
All right, so they have dispatch, we're 226. Okay, so your phone says 224. Mm-hmm. So we know it wasn't 3 something.
Yes, that's my bad. I just probably, that's what time that I thought it was around that it happened.
911 from Bellevue Road.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so then what? After you talked 911, what'd you do?
I called Angie twice, and she didn't answer.
Angie, twice. Okay, now continue. No, what happened?
Then where Madison lives at Carlton, I went there.
Madison lives on Carlton?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I tried calling Angie again, but she was at her residence, so she was 10-6. And I called Wimpy, and I called Johnson to let them know what was going on.
So after you called Angie twice, you went to Madison's?
Mm-hmm.
To Madison. And when you got there, who'd you call? You called Angie again, is that what you said?
Yes. I tried calling her like 3 times.
Okay.
Then when I heard her go 10-8, I got back on the radio and asked her if she'd give me a 21.
Okay. So when you called Angie, you were at Carlton.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And when you called 911, you were on Bellevue.
Mm-hmm. Right. I told them, they asked was I still in the area. I said no. I told them I was headed to Carlton.
Okay. Did you turn your blue lights on or anything?
No.
So I'm going to have to get McGee in the next few days to get your account car. Because we should be able to hook into your car.
Okay.
And because the camera's recording all the time.
Yeah.
So we should be able to see what we can see. He didn't ever say anything or nothing?
No, he never said a word.
Okay. So after you spoke with Angie on the phone, what'd y'all do?
She had me meet her back on Bellevue, and we met up, and I just explained to her what happened.
So you didn't show her where it happened at? You just
I showed her where it happened at.
Okay. You see where I got like a problem with this? Okay. A felony was committed. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's all. Everybody's on a police officer.
Right.
Okay. And we leave the scene, and we drive to Carlton. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we pass Harrigan. Well, how'd you go to Carlton? Did you go down Prospect?
Prospect.
Okay, so over to 101, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we go through Harrigan. So we pass Harrigan Police Department, and then we go over to Carlton Drive. For what reason?
Because I was on the phone with her after it happened. I was bleeding, and she was like, "Well, come over here and I'll clean your arm for you."
Okay, so like me, if I got cut, I would be wanting an ambulance to come look at me. Okay, whatever. But so we let. Okay, this guy cut you and he fled. Mm-hmm. All right, and you drove 5 miles away to clean your arm instead of getting on that radio and getting officers over there in that area and set up a perimeter and get a dog to come in and track this fellow.
I tried getting in touch with Angie.
No. I don't want to hear it. I tried calling Angie on the phone. Okay, you said you tried to keep up on the radio. It didn't go through. Mm-hmm. Did you try again between your location and Carlton on the radio to call 911 and say, I've been assaulted?
No, I called them on my phone.
So that's my problem, okay, is you're a police officer.
Right.
All right? And you're not supposed to be a victim.
Right.
You ain't supposed to be in your mentality to be a victim. Police officers are not victims. Okay, so you didn't fight. You left.
Yes.
Okay, that's where I have an issue. And I got an issue now. We got somebody walking the streets that we possibly could have got a dog over there within a few minutes. Okay, well, Angie calls me at 3:15. She just got off the phone with you. Okay, so this happened at 2:15ish. So an hour later is when she finally gets off the phone with you. Well, yeah, she's a working supervisor. So if you call your supervisor and she's on the call and she can't answer, what would be your next step? Pick up that phone, call on or call me, or call Captain Vanderbilt, or call Chief, or call somebody else.
Okay.
That's how that works. I was going to drive over to my friend's house, and it's not you just abandoned. You just let a felon go. I mean, we just watched him run off. I mean, you didn't try to take chase or nothing, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there a problem with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so. I mean, I have a big problem with that. I mean, I really do. I mean, it's like somebody commits a felony, so I got a problem where if I'm getting assaulted, are you going to help me? Or are you going to drive across the country and call somebody else? You see what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, I don't know what you signed up. You can get hurt on this job.
Yes, sir.
This is not a freaking joke. You just look at that shrine in there of Kristen getting killed by a man, she couldn't see his hands. And she never pulled her gun out of her holster. Okay. And you get assaulted and leave. Allowed it to happen, and didn't try to defend yourself. When you park, we're going to ride over there and we'll see on the side of the road. Well, I'm not the best one to talk this kind of stuff, but so we're going to ride over and we'll see where it happened. You said less than 5 minutes, so more than 1 minute altogether? Okay.
More than 1 minute.
Definitely more than 1 minute, but not more than 5. So
It was a quick interaction.
yeah, so a couple minutes, maybe more than a minute. More than a minute, right?
More than a minute.
Okay. All right. And so you're clear that it's between 2:15ish,
Yes, sir.
because that's what you put on the report.
Yes, sir, because I'm looking at the call.
Okay, so you was on the phone with her at 1:38 when you called Madison.
And we talked for a few minutes.
So you're riding around talking on the phone. Okay, that's a problem too.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just had one wreck. Okay, but I mean, it's your fault. I mean, your wreck was. I mean, yeah, there's water in the road, but you was probably driving too fast because it called you a hydroplane. So now you're talking on the phone, driving around, and then you confront a guy while on the phone, and he cuts you, and we don't. I got a lot of issues.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't know any other officer personally. I don't know any other officer, and you're not the only person I've talked about this to, but I don't know any other officer who would get assaulted or let somebody slice them on the arm and drive away. I don't, and they don't. I don't know where that just don't register in my mind to allow that to happen. I don't. Maybe it's a male female thing, but I'm talking about. But I don't know why you would allow somebody to assault you and be fine with that. 10-8 blotter entry, information call is what was listed on the cash sheet. Wasn't even going to do a report. I told Angie to make you do a report. Right? I mean, that's.
I planned on doing a report on it.
Well, the cash sheet's disposition was 10-8. Let me see what it said.
Because I called 911 because I knew that was a lot of information to put over the radio.
Well, you should have been over the radio. I need officers over here to help. I've been assaulted. Is what should have been said. And I need 1078 over here, 1018. Is what should have been said. You know what 1078 is?
A dog?
Huh? 1078 is not a dog. Okay. I need assistance. 1018 means what? Quickly. Okay, we're going to ride over there. Follow you.
Today's date is January 21st, 2021. This is a taped interview with Savannah Wade. Present in the interview is Kiki Evans, Assistant Chief, and Captain Perry Davis. Alright, Savannah, so Pete called and told us what happened. I'm not going to ask you why, but so we're going to terminate you, okay, from the police department. I know your car's here, so you got your personal car, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So we need to follow you home and get all of your equipment, okay?
Okay.
And go from there. Anything you want to say?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm gonna sign this and get you to sign it, okay? It's your termination letter. And then come right here and sign your name. And you can read it, and I'll give you a copy of it. I'll get you a copy, and we'll follow you home to your house, okay?
Okay.
All right. In this,
Put in the sheet.
okay.
Check it out.
In this interview at 4:49 p.m. Don't tell me. What?
I'm starting to something stupid. Just got out of control.
Yeah.
Like way out of control.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I can put that on Angie's player. Just that viewer. That's all she needs, right?
And we're closing
Or
it.
she can just say,
Sorry.
Does Berry College know this? Know all this?
They knew that I was under investigation and everything, but I mean, they don't know that obviously I haven't told them I've been terminated, so
Okay.
I don't know what this means.
Well, you're terminated from us as the police department.
Right.
If Berry College still wants to hire you, they will have to pay for your, I think you owe half of your contract to make that go. And I will say this, Savannah.
You ready, Kate?
Yeah, just a minute. Think twice about staying in this.
Okay.
Because this is not good. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
And so I don't want to see you somewhere else and not handle the issues that you're having right now. So, I mean, I hate it. I do. Because we all like you. And, but we can't tolerate that. And so, I mean, if you look on there on your termination, that's 2 Georgia laws in violation. You're in violation of. You officially done a document, police report, and you lied during the police report. Okay. And so, but you're going to have to. I mean, you need to tell Barry, that you were terminated.
Right. I
And
know.
so, and then, but we wish you well. We do. Now, I hope everything works out for you. Got that baby to take care of. You know that. So keep that at the forefront, and I'll be praying for you. Okay? Sorry, honey. I don't like doing this. I really don't. But we got a job to do, and you just can't do that. You can't do that and be a police officer, honey. I mean, people trust us to tell the truth. And you have to tell the truth. So.
Alright, so how do you know Savannah? Y'all just friends or?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have y'all been friends for?
A couple months. We met because of the fire station. We were both on an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. We were both on an accident, and someone sped by Mooney, and he yelled at him. He told her to take off after him. And we were both on scene because I'm a volunteer at Station 4.
Mm-hmm.
And she got back, and I was like, "Did you get him?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, that's that." And so after that, we started just hanging out.
Okay. So on December 21st, so you were on the phone with her.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you hear? Or were y'all just talking about normal stuff and then?
So I was talking to her about like what it was like going through like police academy, stuff like that. And then all of a sudden she was like, "There's someone in the middle of the road. Like, this is so strange. Like, he's just looking up at the sky with his arms up." And I was like, "Well, that's weird." And she was like trying to call people out, and I was like, "Well, stay on the phone with me until you can get someone." And she rolled down her window, and she had her, I guess her arm was like this, and she's like, hey, are you okay? Do you need EMS? And then I heard her like trying to key up, but it sounded like it was busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like when ours do it when it's on private, if that makes sense. It's like, And she was trying to call EMS, and I think it came through. And then she's like, hey, stop. And then that's when the phone call ended.
Okay. Did she hang up on you or?
Yeah. And she was like, I can't get out. And then she was like, it went stop. And then I thought he pulled a gun on her or something.
Okay. So then, how did she say where she was or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Did she call you back after that?
I texted her and I was like, hey, just checking, like, are you okay? Just let me know, like, I know you probably are busy. And she called me and she's like, hey, he just cut me, like, I'm trying to get in touch with my supervisor. And she's like, I don't know if I can go to the like, urgent care about it. And I was like, well, just come to the house and I'll clean it for you. Because I work at a vet's office as a vet tech. And I said, that way, if you have to wait a couple hours before you go, it won't get infected.
Mm-hmm.
So she came to the house, and I got the iodine and alcohol and stuff out of my car, because my vet's mobile, so I have a carry pack. And I just cleaned her arm, and then that's when I think her supervisor called her. And so she stayed at the house for a few minutes talking to him, and then she left.
Okay. Do you remember what time all this happened, or?
I have no idea. I can look and see.
Was it in the
text.
morning, or?
It was in the afternoon, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Do you still have where she called you, like the time that she called you? Or?
I have where I sent her the text.
Okay.
What was the date?
December 21st.
So I sent the text at 1:54. I said, I know it's your job, but wanted to check on you. So that was after she hung up on me.
Okay. And do you have the call, like where she called you, or y'all were on the phone?
Probably, I don't know. I can get it, but my phone records don't only go back to 25th.
Okay.
And I can send you a screenshot of that if you need that, or I can show it to you.
Did she say anything about the guy, any description about the dude or anything like that?
Okay. Just that nobody was coming down that road or anything, and that he was just standing in the middle of the road, and she pulled up to him. That's all that she said.
And whenever she got to the house, now where's the house at? Is it on the house on Carlton Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whenever she got to the house, did she say anything further about what happened, or?
No, just that he was still standing in the middle of the road, and it freaked her out a little bit that he like lunged at her, and that she was just freaked out because her supervisor wouldn't answer, and she didn't know what to do, and she didn't want to get in trouble.
Now, did she say what the guy did, like anything about? Because we're trying to figure out the whole thing of what happened. Did she say anything about what he did whenever he cut her or anything like that, or?
Mm-mm. She just said like he had a glazed over look and that he was staring at the sky. I already told you that.
Yeah.
And that he was out of it, and that's why she was calling EMS. But the radio wouldn't break. It was just giving that tone. It was like,
yeah, the busy tone.
And so she finally got through, and it said like EMS, or like her number, and then EMS, and then it's silent. Somebody else was keying up.
Okay.
And then that's when the whole, I can't get out, stop. And so I don't know.
Okay.
And then that's when the call ended.
All right. Would you be good to fill out a witness statement form, just basically, because this is a pretty serious thing, somebody cuts a cop, so we're taking it pretty seriously.
Definitely.
And so would you be willing to fill out just a quick witness statement form, just saying, hey, this is what, I cleaned it and stuff, basically in your own words, what your involvement in this was. But if you're good with that, then let me go run grab that, and then I'll bring it back and get you filled out, and we can get you out of here.
Do you want a screenshot of that message?
Yeah, you can just send it to that work phone. But like I said, if you don't mind, hang tight just 1 second.
Yeah.
And then you ain't got to worry about the time. So it's basically just describe what happened, starting what you think is the beginning of the incident. Basically, it's just, I don't care about before, just pertaining to when this whole situation happened and kind of what happened after. So I do have to read you this on the bottom. So 1610-20 of the Georgia State Code, any person who knowingly makes a false statement which conceals or covers up a material fact has committed a crime under the laws of the state of Georgia, punishable by $1,000 fine or by imprisonment for not less than 1 year nor more than 5 years. So do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So all I need from you once you're done, and there's another page on the back here if you run out of room, it's just your signature and the time, but I'll put the date real quick. So I do have to read you this on the bottom. So 1610-20 of the Georgia State Code, any person who knowingly makes a false statement which conceals or covers up a material fact has committed a crime under the laws of the state of Georgia, punishable by $1,000 fine or by imprisonment for not less than 1 year nor more than 5 years. So do you understand? Yeah. Okay. So all I need from you once you're done, and there's another page on the back here if you run out of room, it's just your signature and the time, but I'll put the date real quick.
And then I just cropped the message where I sent that, but I can send you the whole.
No, I ain't. Alright, so like I said, you can just take your time, and then whenever you get done, just come knock on the door, and then I'll run back in here and snag it from you, and then I'll kind of explain some more stuff to you. So, like I said, you can take your time. Do you have any questions on the form or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Do you want me to get the phone records so I can show like where we're
right now, we don't need them right now.
Okay.
Not saying that we wouldn't need them in the future, but right now, that's something that that's page 850 and we're on page 5. So that's something we would let you know in the future. But like I said, whenever you're done, just come knock on the door and I'll come snag it from you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so real quick,
Okay.
so I know you kind of went through everything that happened, so, and we've already talked to Savannah about this. I'll be real, there's a couple issues as far as what happened.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to kind of talk to you to see, kind of get your side of everything and what she told you. So we have this thing in our car, it's called AVL Replay, and so basically it's hooked up to our computer, and the computer's mounted in the car. So the computer updates every 10 seconds as far as like it'll give speed, coordinates, and everything, and it plots a path so you can see, where a car drives all over the county, and they use it for like getting data for as far as how many miles we put on our car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the whole time that, because originally Savannah gave us, hang on just 1 second. So originally in the report, Savannah said the time that the incident happened was 2:26 to 3:45 is when she said that all this went down.
Okay.
She's changed up a couple times as far as saying it happened later. And then now basically it's showing that it happened, that it was prior to 2. So her computer, like I said, it plots every 10 seconds, it updates and tells speed, location, all that. We basically checked every time from the time that she put in this report, the time she gave another, like basically our captain, and then the time that you gave as far as, and it shows her never, she said this whole thing took about 5 minutes to happen.
I don't know.
And it showed that she never came to a stop at all.
It was pretty quick. So it was like, I don't know, I wasn't there, but this is just what I heard. So if you're pulling up, you see someone, it sounded like whoever was talking to never responded. You just heard her yelling at someone. And then a few seconds later, she was just like, stop, stop, stop. And then that's where it ended. And then she called me back. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I put in the report that I didn't know what time she called me back, but she did call me back.
So did, did she ever say to you as far as anything as far as, because I want you to look at it from like our point of view.
No, I get it.
So all of us, I mean, I know you said that you've been asking her questions about mandate and stuff like that. Once you've been in policing a little while, I've only did it for about 3.5, almost 4 years. Once you did it for a little while, you start getting to, like how things are supposed to go.
Yeah.
And something like this, as far as somebody, you could pull anybody in from Walmart, set them down and run this scenario through them. And, because in her report, she basically detailed that she was in the process of drawing her gun out and Buddy reached in. Now, I'm not saying, I don't want you to say that like, oh, this or whatever. I'm just saying this is what she wrote in the report. And, somebody, you're in the process of drawing your gun out, somebody reaches in and cuts you, 9 times out of 10, whoever's in that car that's got the gun is going to shoot the other person.
Yeah.
But the major problem that we have with this is she never called over the radio, and you with the, volunteer, sometimes the radio service is spotty. I agree with that 100%. And sometimes you can't get out because people like to give dissertations and talk forever on the radio.
Yeah.
I understand that too. The whole issue is, she never called, the supervisor that called her supervisor was like 45 minutes after all this happened. And the course that plotted, she went past, the Aragon Police Department through Rockmart. She never told anybody else but you and her supervisor when she called like 45 minutes later. So nobody even knew any of this happened. She didn't tell, she didn't. She
said that she called and that 2 other officers on duty were looking in the area for the guy.
Okay. Because
she said that she was in a wooded area and he took off running to the woods.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm one of those, like you said, I wasn't there, and so I can't say for sure, hey, this is what happened, because I wasn't there. But the whole thing is, there's just a lot of issues as far as that GPS doesn't lie as far as tracking. Because now I can understand if there was a big gap in that, because sometimes you lose internet service, whatever, but there's no gap at any of those time frames we provided, saying that okay, for 5 minutes here, or even 30 seconds, there's nothing on the computer.
Yeah.
It's all just consistently tracking, and she never stops.
So because I heard her radio out to dispatch, you don't have any proof of that?
So we
I
pulled
don't want it to come back on me, because I really did hear this stuff.
Yeah, no, and like I said, and I'm not sitting here saying that what you're telling me is false or anything. I don't have any reason to believe that. But the thing is, she never talked to 911. We pulled all the recordings, and the only thing that we have is she called 911 like way after, and even before she called her supervisor.
Okay.
So here's what we're getting at. So like I said, I kind of laid out, hey, this is where I'm coming from, this is where we're coming from, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think this ever happened. Because the cut, it was not a very deep laceration.
It wasn't deep, and I put that in the report.
Yeah.
It did look like it was deeper on this side than going out.
Yeah.
So if you cut someone, the more pressure would be going out.
Yeah.
And I drew a picture in the report.
So has she told you, because like I said, that's why I wanted to emphasize at the bottom here that, anyone who knows makes a false statement, signs this form and stuff like that, if basically we, because this is a full-blown investigation now. And so if we went back and found out that like you lied in this thing,
that is
then
all the truth.
Yeah.
I will sit and like get lie detected. I don't even care, but that everything that I wrote down is true.
But she hasn't said anything to you as far as, hey, it was, I was just going through, because I think that anytime somebody makes a choice or anytime something happens, somebody makes a conscious decision to do something, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing is, if you give, it's kind of like the golden rule of life. It's like if you do something, as long as you tell the truth about it and you don't attempt to conceal it, then people are more easy to like, okay, I understand why you did it, like, let's get you help.
Yeah.
But she hasn't told you anything about, hey, this was all like BS or
She got to the house for me to clean her arm, and she literally was like, I'm so scared, I don't want to lose my job. This is like a week after I had my accident.
Yeah.
And she just started crying, and then someone called her, and she walked outside and took the call.
Did she say why she thought she would lose her job?
No.
Okay.
She was just like, there's 2 accidents in a short amount of time.
Well, here's the difference between, like, you have a wreck. I totaled a police car.
Yeah.
You have a wreck. The accidents happen, but if you basically, I mean, somebody cutting you is not an accident. That's an intentional act.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is, we're just trying to determine if it happened, it happened.
Yeah.
But if it didn't, then, you know, it's almost like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue because you start to lose to where people don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're willing to come up with something and say something, like I said, I wasn't there, so I can't say 100%, hey, if it happened or not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that based on all the facts and circumstances and everything, that nothing points that it did happen.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, that's what we're trying to figure out. Because if it did happen, there's somebody running around in this county who thinks it's okay to cut cops and they're going to get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's just simply not how it is. So that's why we wanted to talk to you, because whether you wanted to be or not, like, you kind of, you know, you kind of got drug into it.
And then, like, I can get my phone record. We hung up. I called Robert because I couldn't get the radio to turn on.
Yeah.
And then I called Aubrey to see if his radio was on scan, to see if he heard what was going on, because my radio is still not working. And then a few minutes later, my radio finally turned on, and then it was quiet, like there was nothing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, like something bad happened, that's why it's quiet. And then a few minutes later, she called me back.
Okay. Now, is Robert your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay, so who is, does Aubrey and her talk?
They do.
Okay.
Now, but they weren't then.
Okay, they weren't then.
It was more of, he works at Cartersville Fire.
Yeah.
And he was off that day, and so he normally keeps his radio on scan because of the volunteer. Like sometimes if our radios are on private, it won't
get
show
out.
up. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, are you listening? He's like, no. And so that was pretty much it.
Okay. Do you have anything else you need that you think is important or pertinent or anything?
I don't think so. And you're welcome to read over the report now and ask me questions since I'm here, because, I mean...
Yeah, like I said, we're just trying to... And it kind of sucks because all of us hate anything that happens with one of our own. Because here's the thing. So if it didn't happen, and I know I keep kind of going back to this, but I'm a man of fact only.
Yeah.
And I don't have any personal involvement in anything. I just get paid to work here, so I go home, I sleep fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if it didn't happen, then, we had an officer get killed 3 years ago,
mm-hmm.
and, I mean, that's not something to really play around with, somebody attacking you.
Yeah.
But no, we're just trying to figure out what happened, and that's the big thing. And so that's why we wanted to know if basically she had confided in you or basically said anything to you, because you definitely we don't want you getting hemmed up.
I don't want any involvement. Everything that I've told you is true, and there's literally, that's...
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, like I said, if you don't have any question or anything like that, it's probably the last time I envisioned that we got to talk to you. But it was just one of those, like I said, you got roped into it, not by intention, but you just got kind of roped into it. But if you need anything else, you got our number. If we need anything from you, we got your number. So.
But I did hear it break to where she did radio up to dispatch. So I don't know if there would be a record to that, but they said her number back to her.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to go back and find that, and it may have been just because we didn't have, we only had, because like I said, there's been 3 different times that have been provided.
Yeah.
2 different times by her, one saying, it was from 2 to this time, and then another one later on. And so if we're only looking in those 2 categories, then...
And that was after the fact, so I don't know how far in advance, but I did put the time in there.
Okay. Well, all right. Like I said, if you need anything else, we'll definitely